Is black magic the real key to wealth and other lies we sell ourselves? Excuse my approach, but I couldn't help but ask. Is the real key wealth? I live in South Africa and we have diverse cultures from. One thing I've noticed among the rich here is that most have some sort of belief and use black magic to convince other people to do business with them or to push their product. Notice how some people will start a business from scratch and get tons of investors in a short period of time. Notice also how a flawed product will sell like hot cakes. I read a wealth-building book some time ago and the author wrote that the main key to business is to persuade people or convince them. I live in the east coast of South Africa where there is a high population of Indians. And guess what? Most of them are successful and admit to use some sort of voodoo to grow their business. So is this the missing part that every successful writer will skip and not tell readers for some reason? I know that making millions takes a lot of work, but is there some other hidden factor that puts odds in your favor? Something like, when you reach 10,000 forum points you are given access to our special full moon cult sessions where we burn success books and study the ashes for clues to wealth. The rest of the forum is just a cover so people don't find out what we are up to. #landfill, lol, are you trying to cast a spell on me? You still believe it in 21st century, buddy? No black magic? But rituals are important that drive your discipline. Maybe they do some voodoo or black magic and they get a kind of placebo effect from it because they believe in it. Believing is a big point in entrepreneurship. I hope you got the message. Those Indians are lying to you. They practice group economics. They teaching their kids how to operate or run businesses from a young age. They invest in each other's businesses and are very strict about who they let into their family. They make sure their kids get married to people from proper backgrounds so that their grandkids are sorted. But again, the main thing is, they have a code of conduct, they practice group economics and they teach their kids to run businesses. Check out some of Drive Claude Anderson's work if you want to learn more. But now fam, it's not about black magic. It's not about white Jeebus, it's not about the belief in Allah or whatever. It's about having the right knowledge, having a community of people to help you and providing a service or product that other people want to buy. Read M.J's books if you haven't already done so. Thank you for the feedback. I have read both books and they say nothing about luck and magic. But they do talk about numbers. Growing up in a spiritual community, we are raised to believe in tales that don't exist. Maybe I should relocate cause I think getting the FCK of this country may be my mind changer. Thank you. I see you point. Belief drives one to be confident, which explains why some people perform well after they were told they were lucky. It's all about approaching a situation with the mindset to win. Heck, if one feels motivated by voodoo or rituals, they should go for it. That's if it's not too costly. Def. Stay away from people that aren't living in reality. There are a lot of people that want to live in the clouds or the afterlife. Those people have given up on taking control of their lives or environment. You don't necessarily need to move to a different nation cause I know people come from other nations to South Africa and are able to find success. But distance yourself from certain types of people and I'll see you around. Thank you. This is the best advice anyone can give. Damn. I'm over 10,000 forum point but haven't gotten my first cult session invite yet. Maybe the invitation got lost? Just let me know. I'm happy to bring Kool-Aid or whatever we need. And no man. It's an incredibly stupid thread, but not landfill. There's cultures out there that attribute everything to the supernatural and keep themselves from success. This thread is worthless for 99% of us, but valuable for those that grow up in places like the east coast of South Africa where bullshit beliefs dictate life. Do not use black magic. This is powerful stuff and it can backfire. You should never talk about esoteric stuff with regular people. This can be dangerous as well for you because of human nature. Socrates was forced to kill himself because he was too ahead of his time. Just remember this. Black magic has absolutely nothing to do with success. Black magic is simply your local community's way of describing something they don't understand, why some people can become successful and others don't. It's your version on a very niche basis of slow lane paradigm. Let's run through some examples from a couple different parts of the world to give you a better understanding of what's happening. People don't understand success, so they come up with their own explanations. They have limited beliefs, limited knowledge, limited experiences. They simply can't think on the same level as someone who's made it, so they come up with their own explanation. And what propagates this thinking further is that the successful people will agree with your flawed assessment since it allows them to maintain their wealth. You ask some Indian guy if got rich because of black magic? FCK, yeah he did. And don't mess with him or you'll be cursed next. The truth is, end of the day, there's only one real way to get rich, and that's by providing value. You create something that other people value, whether that be a product or a service, and you find a way to deliver it to them in a value chain that allows you to make a profit. People need roads? Okay. You create a concrete paving company, build them the roads, and keep some money for yourself. People want pizza? Okay. You find a way to make pizza they like and sell it to them. People want cheap clothes? Okay. You find a way to import cheap clothes and make a small margin. It's all about finding a way to deliver value. It has absolutely nothing to do with black magic. LOL. Not only in the east coast of South Africa, all over the world actually. I bet you 99% of poor people believe in luck and miracles or think success has a secret trick to it. Ask around, buddy, you will be amazed at how most people are stuck in poverty because they think wealth is something they have to summon with some sort of wealth god. I always interpreted the cave allegory as setting aside the metaphysical dogma, secret esoteric stuff or mass media, a spiritual and intellectual script, and checking out the real work for yourself, even going so far as to look directly into the sun according to the dialogue. Using Newton's flaming laser sword, if you will. I may have misinterpreted it. Your comment make 100% sense. Thank you. But it also makes sense to have such thoughts whenever since childhood all you have heard is luck, magic, voodoo, inheritance and more bull about how people get rich. As I speak, most of Africa believe in these things and have tons of stories. Now I'm scared. I once read that the government system is designed to elude people into believing that spiritual life doesn't exist. That way people become weak and easy to control. Not saying magic is the total formula, but applying it here and there can be helpful. That is if you believe it will work for you. Thanks for the advice. Maybe I should keep my mouth shut. Yes, it is black magic, which consists in the following ingredients: hard work, persistence, creativity, intelligence and a never give up attitude. I like that answer, Ollie Mac. Black magic may not work or exist, but the idea that a person possesses supernatural powers might inspire them to work hard with more confidence, thus reaching higher goals. Jack Parsons would agree. John Whiteside. Jack Parsons was an American rocket engineer and rocket propulsion researcher, chemist, and Thelemite occultist. Associated with the California Institute of Technology, Parsons was one of the principal founders of both the Jet Propulsion Laboratory and the Aerojet Engineering Corporation. Anyway, I could teach you how he did it. I've sent you a link to my $997 course via PM on how to make $456,380 your first month with nothing but ritual magic and a wooden staff. Black magic? I like the name. It has a certain ring to it that I can't quite place, anyway. If some rituals give you the confidence to go and do things, then maybe those rituals are helpful to you. What you're saying is very true. Look up Satanism in Hollywood and the music industry. Of course it's in politics too. The top 1%. Mark Andreessen provides a great recipe for black magic in this post. Thank you Rawsid, I will have a look at it. I know that there are numerous millionaires who have never used magic for business, but I also know that there are a lot more who do and will never admit. Thanks for the comment, Daniela. You cute too. A bowl of Lucky Charms a day keeps the failure away. Actually, some of your post is decent. If I can chop it around, it looks like this ... is the real key wealth. One thing I've noticed among the rich here is that most have some sort of belief and use black magic to convince other people to do business with them or to push their product. Guess what? Most of them are successful and admit to use some sort of voodoo to grow their business. Something like, notice how some people will start a business from scratch and get tons of investors in a short period of time. Notice also how a flawed product will sell like hot cakes. I read a wealth-building book some time ago and the author wrote that the main key to business is to persuade people or convince them. I know that making millions takes a lot of work. You got half the puzzle. You just got to stop letting your brain being lazy and linking these observations to magic. You already know that some products sell better than others even when inferior marketing, sales and persuasion, and that some people seem to attract money and investors faster than others. Networking, sales and persuasion. Also, you have noted hard work pays off. I would look outside your country to places where magic is not even a factor and something people don't even think about, the USA, Europe, Canada, Australia, etc. How are these people succeeding? Also, keep in mind that people like to tell stories and simplify their success to protect their business. The 48 Laws of Power would be a good read too for you. And of course, The Fast Lane Millionaire if you haven't already. Success is half maths, half mentality. Oh man, I missed this forum. And this is why the thread is not landfilled. Rep in a ripless era. Thanks you for the advice and a dose of reality. I posted this thread to get rid of my childhood beliefs that I was raised with. I now have a full picture of what it really takes to make it outside Africa. Hard work and more hard work. Even if voodoo does work, people who use it have a flawed mentality, the same mentality I desperately am trying to get rid of. You're welcome. We all have them. I used to think you had to be born rich to ever make it. Get some books on growth mindset and self-image. They will help in a big way. It is an honor to finally have you comment on my thread. The purpose of my thread is to get views from people outside Africa about this topic. There are a lot of people here who feel that wealth is something that only comes to people who use magic powers voodoo. The replies FRM international businessmen have freed me cause now I know I was right. Wealth is a step-by-step process that is tied to time and hard work. Now you have one more thing to add on your next book. Africa needs your advice. Thank you very much for taking the time to understand my thread. Talk to you soon. Thanks for advice against Zalods. It really made a difference in how I think. If you can afford it, take a trip outside of South Africa to somewhere that's complete opposite. London, Singapore, New York. A place like that. You spending time there for a week or two will put into perspective your local environment and challenge your beliefs. You'll quickly realize which beliefs you should hold, and which beliefs would be laughable outside of your bubble. If you can't afford it, start watching more interviews by entrepreneurs from different places. Thank you, brother. Already I was planning to visit USA, Florida. I was planning to live there for good. Africa is not for me, man. Can't see myself making big here. Thank you so much, bro. You guys may laugh at black magic, but I deal with high net worth individuals on a regular basis, and quite a few of them have consulted shamans, done ayahuasca experiences, or have been involved in the occult in some form. I was surprised to learn some of the things these highly successful people told me, because I thought only the poor or uneducated got involved in that stuff, but it's surprising the amount of wealthy people out there involved in that world. Joe Rogan and Tim Ferriss, I believe, have discussed psychedelics and experiences kinda like what the poster is referring to also. There's more to this world than what meets the eye. Don't get me started on this religion thing. Drugs are not magic. Magic is a fictitious thing. Ayahuasca is a drug which makes you think or rethink things differently. Psychedelics are acting on your brain and nerves. They're not magic. If these things were legalized here, perhaps more studies could come out and science could detail everything that's going on in your body when you take these substances. There's no magic. We're not in Harry Potter. Definitely not talking about some make-believe magic. I guess when he referred to black magic, I'm thinking about the umbrella term of the occult. To me it's all the same: voodoo, black magic, tarot cards, shamanism, psychics, channeling spirits. I consider that one thing, and I don't think the poster was referring to Harry Potter magic that children watch. The people I'm referring to were talking to spirits through shamans and certain drug experiences. I've taken psychedelics before, but I don't mess around with trying to seek out spirits and seeking out shamans. That's a whole other level, but I'm aware quite a few of the wealthy do it. Your logic makes sense in a free country. This is not the case in many places around the world where corruption and violence are rampant. Try starting that pavement company in a communist country with a militaristic government and see how long you're allowed to add value for before you get shut down or worse. I wish it weren't the case, but sadly it is. For all of our problems, I feel crazy blessed to be trying to make it in the US of A. You've got the right attitude, in my humble opinion. I think you will do very well in your life. Or quote, I noticed you're in Quebec. I went there a couple times over the winter to Quebec City and Montreal. It's my new favorite place to do a road trip from DC. Very beautiful. I brought back 14 bottles of the Caribou whiskey and some maple whiskey. A. is in South Africa. There's definitely opportunities, maybe even more than in most parts of America depending what you get into. As for communist countries or other countries where the government has more control, it's the same, just a different game. Instead of paying taxes, you pay bribes. Instead of building your business around bank loans, you build your business around political party support. It's a different game, but the fundamentals are the same. You need to create a product or service that provides value first. Violence and communism is just the added cost of doing business after you create that value. Want to start a factory in Bangladesh? Okay. You can bribe all the local officials to get it going, give them kickbacks, have your own mafia, but that doesn't guarantee success. Your factory still needs to offer a product that buyers will value at the price that you're offering it for. If you're selling product at a price that's too high, then you go out of business. If you're selling a product that no one has a need for, you go out of business. You still have to create value. If you don't create value, you can't play the game because there's nothing to be taxed for the government or mafia to take a part of. Also, this thought that America is the easiest place to operate is naive. China is communist, but in the past few decades it's been the easiest place in the world to become ultra-rich. You think Jack Ma started with political party support or his own army? FCK no. But he navigated, created a very valuable service, and then appeased the appropriate parties as he navigated. Today, the fastest growing places are as follows: Nigeria, Egypt, Bangladesh, Vietnam. Are any of those places you'd consider less violent and communist than the US? Definitely not, but they're the fastest growing and where the most present moment opportunity exists. Golden Post. Follow-up personal question: if you migrated to Bangladesh for some out-of-your-hand reason, and you had to do what you stated even though you have an American no corruption, no bribes etc. mindset, will you accommodate yourself to those standards and start that factory? Or would you do everything possible to migrate to another just country? The reason I ask because many entrepreneurs find themselves in similar situation as mentioned above, including me. So I would be interested to hear your thoughts. I do believe you. However, this topic goes back to faith and you will usually never be able to prove it to anyone, so it will only cause you arguments, at least here on the forum. Nevertheless, great to hear your input on the topic. How do you know for sure? So yes, from the masses' point of view, there is no magic. Asian masters know how to master the yin-yang energy of the body to heal and so on. From an American guy point of view, this is magic BS. From an Asian master point of view, this is just life. They don't deserve to know more about yin-yang anyway. Just stay where you are. Hey, I'll share my thoughts but think they should have zero impact on what you do with your life. We're all different. As long as you don't create harm to anyone in the process, do whatever you want and define your ethics however you want. To answer this, I want to start by addressing your perspective on American mindset. You defined it as a no corruption and no bribes mindset. That couldn't be further from the truth. We might not be as corrupt as some countries, but we're definitely still extremely corrupt. The corruption is packaged differently, so it's not always called corruption, even though it's the same thing. Some examples: the point is that America's still extremely corrupt. It's not the definition of corruption that we know, where you go and hand someone a briefcase of money to get things done. It's a song and dance that's socially accepted. Just look at lobbying. Yeah, there's sometimes socially positive reasons for lobbying, but overall it's just a form of bribery so that private companies can maintain their competitive edge. What's the difference between hiring a lobbyist and handing some Bangladeshi official a $50,000 Patek Philippe so that he can look the other way? To me there's not much. Now to answer your question, I wouldn't migrate to another country because of corruption reasons. I would calculate where I would be happiest and have the highest likelihood of accomplishing my goals. If you're happy in the country you're in, and think that it's the best place for you, then stay there. If the local business climate dictates that you offer bribes, then question your own ethics and decide what's right for you. Personally, if I loved Bangladesh and thought that it was the greatest country in the world, then I'd stay there. And if the local politicians required a bribe for me to operate my business there, then I'd pay it. I wouldn't do anything that crosses my ethical guidelines. I would never hurt another person directly or indirectly, or agree to be a piece of shit in any way. But if someone needed a bribe because that's how things are done around here, and it didn't cause any harm, then I'd do it with no hesitation. The same way that a tourist in Thailand gives the local cops money for driving without an international license, I'd pay the local officials to operate my business. Note: I've met with a couple factory owners that have admitted to paying bribes. I don't think of them any less, just accept it as part of their local business customs, another tax per se. Definitely right about the pharmaceutical industry and lobbying and being one of the most corrupt organizations in the US. While Americans get sicker and sicker. I have a friend in El Salvador who owns a construction exporting and importing business. She does very well but is always getting harassed by MS-13. She refused to pay most of the times until they started threatening her children. Don't know why she doesn't move to US, but I guess it's not enough reason to leave her country yet. Asia on the other hand is not that bad. Very good business opportunities in Vietnam and India. And it's safer than our own cities in the US. Thank you, Monica. Black magic alone will never make anyone a millionaire, but picture this, guys. You have this great business idea but you are terrible at speaking to people. And to my knowledge the most skilled salespeople still get rejected. So you use some voodoo to convince people to buy your product. I admit that selling cupcakes door to door will never make you rich even if you have a 99% convergence rate, but what if you used it on bigger magnitude sales like selling real estate? Or another example. You have a website that needs subscribers. You have a sweet deal, but most business people don't want to join your service because you are new and don't have a track record. Here you have it again. Help from black magic. Traveling around in different cities takes a lot of work and money, but would you do it if you knew that you could convince any businessman to subscribe to your service? People here call it self-made luck. Lol. But I still have doubts that it works at all. Many Chinese business people spend hundreds of thousands on feng shui. They also believe that charitable donations accumulate karma points, which in turn can drive their business up. Is black magic an innate factor in the wealth-building equation? No. Interesting that having a false belief or idea in your head is really no different than believing in stuff like black magic. The metaphysical status of the proposition is still false. Some people will laugh and make fun of people who believe in this stuff yet never realize some their own beliefs are just as wrong and ridiculous as well. Black magic is our imagination trying to make up for the lack of understanding of causal relationships and wrong principles to reason off of. Determined people can achieve things with the pendulum. For example, this French woman won the lottery many times in the 90s with her pendulum. The odds that she won. The masses are here to sustain the society system. The masses are energy. They are not supposed to free themselves. For example, George Lucas is an initiator Star Wars Force, Chi energy. You should also notice that a lot of poor people also have those beliefs. Some people are mocking you here. However, those same people have their own religious beliefs. As the saying goes, whether it's black magic, prayer, affirmations, or crystals, if you believe in them they can cause you to behave in a self-fulfilling way. So if I, as a non-believer in anything magic or spiritual at all, say to myself every day, then maybe I start acting in a way that will get me that money, making it slightly more likely than just sitting there wishing I had $3 million. So that was a long way of saying no. Black magic is not real. Dude, if you humbly believe this shit is real, make a case study and prove that it is. Go to the witch doctor and slaughter a goat or chicken, whatever, and let us know the results you get. Lol. America will never believe the things that happen here. Witchcraft is real. But then we're talking about money and millions. In fact, to make them, one has to fulfill all the fast lane commandments. I know. But I know some people who just started getting lucky. Finding cash, winning at casinos, which is not normal. What are the odds of someone winning a jackpot at the casino every he hits the casino? Possible early death. I've seen it many times. Guy rises from poverty, gets filthy rich and dies early. I could be wrong, but a lot people say it's real, so there has to be a reason for that, right? Lol, impossible to make a case study on something like this, buddy. Another case study, Neville Goddard and the power of assumption. You are free to say this is BS because no matter what I say, this is part of the human evolution. There are millions of entrepreneurs and employees in the USA and only 50,000 guys here on this forum. 80% of people will stay where they are in life. The Pareto principle at work: working, eating, having sex, watching TV, until death. The perfect slave is a reminder. Spiritual teacher even say that people. There are a lot of cases study about his teaching. His teaching in a few words, this is not new. This has been known for ages. Being wealthy equals being correct. There are no spirits. There is no black magic. No white magic either. Psychedelic experiences are just that, psychedelic. Occult forces love to give hint. Here is an example. What are the odds that the sigil of Lucifer appears on a magic square on 2019, knowing that the number of Lucifer is and there was euros to win in the French lottery? Lucifer is not Satan. Lucifer It is the morning star in esoteric knowledge. It is Venus. This is a fallen angel. Winning numbers of the French lottery. Wick is this on a magic square 7 by 7. There are 49 numbers to draw in the French lottery. Wick is, here is the sigil of Lucifer. How is that different from asking someone to make a case study to prove that prayer, or any other religious ritual is real? Results from both case studies will prove nearly identical. Why? Not too hard to decipher. I've come to find that humans are 100% rational when dissecting the beliefs of others, but once theirs is brought up, their rationality is instantly switched off. I find myself browsing through your 10-meter-long posts on almost every thread on this forum. Do you even have anything to do with business? Do you run anything yourself or create any products yourself? I would be more interested to hearing what a guy with your mindset and thought process would do for a business. Maybe you would approach a business differently than we would, or take an alternative approach. In case you do run any sort of business, I hope you are as dedicated with it as you are with your ideologies and postings. That said, I can't help to express my opinion about how annoying it is to see your long, non-factual posts in every single thread, with the potential to convince people of this forum that there is some mysterious secret as to why certain people can achieve or do certain things. I knew it. Random coincidences do not prove the nonsense you're posting. What the heck makes you think I believe in some goddamn invisible thing in the sky? Do I look like a goddamn kid? I only believe in the Easter Bunny, nothing else. Come on, man. You know you're not supposed to tell people that until they're made the proper sacrifice to Shinigami. Now Odin is going to send a plague of spambots to the forum and banish us all to the landfill to read shitposts for the rest of eternity. Haha, Feng Shui. I've had an uncle who moved out from living with his parents to his own place, because he believed the Feng Shui air there was bad for him. Well, it may have been a good choice for him to move out anyways. He was like in his late 30s to 40s by that time. From personal experience, the folks tend to do charity for political purposes, currying favor and networking in secret deals, i.e. scratch your back and you scratch mine. Some of it is quite acceptable, but there's a fine line between benevolence and plain bribery. Spiritual stuff does exist, depending on what you believe it. But yes, it's not something to control with our own hands and mind. The best option is to just control what we can do now, and that might be to lay low on the validity of black magic, and look into other key areas, such as networking and relationships, which the big hitters here have already espoused as workable elements. Magic is used to grow your consciousness. That you become more successful is more a side effect. Magic is not a thing to be believed. You must not believe in it. Just experience it and see what happen. Don't do this practices like voodoo, they are bullshit. Magic is ancient. What people know isn't real magic. Learn a skill and make money.